Hello. Good morning, party people. Welcome to Mika Unpacked. And if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Amika or Mika. And, it's just me um, just giving a little insight on what's going on with me, what's my opinion basically about different things. And I'm just sharing a little bit of myself um, with you guys and what's going on, and just out here seeing if anybody can, maybe I can help someone, or seeing if anybody is able to relate, or just voicing my opinion about different things. That's all. Really, just telling you what's going on in my life, I guess, at the end of the day, because I do have something to tell you. I do. Um, it is a beautiful, I don't know if I want to say beautiful. It is a very foggy Sunday morning. Um, and I am just getting ready for Thanksgiving because I'm hosting, and I usually do most of the cooking. Um, yeah, I the most of the most of the main dishes is what I fix, and then I leave um some of the desserts up to like my niece and stuff. But this year, I think I usually don't have the capacity to do desserts, but I want to. My sister was the one responsible for like the sweet potato pie. I think I'm gonna do a video and I'm gonna call it not my sister's sweet potato pie, because her sweet potato pie is good. Everybody loves her sweet potato pie, but she is now vegan. I don't think she's found a way to the pie, fix it in vegan sweet potato pie, but she doesn't cook it anymore. And I've attempted once. She showed me how to walk me through her recipe, and I just haven't done it since then because, like I said, I don't have the capacity to be cooking all that. Good for you if you do. But I do realize that I need to start cooking a lot earlier, maybe a day or two before Thanksgiving. And I normally don't have an opportunity to do that because I'm working. So I usually do take Wednesday off, but that's only unless I want to stay up all night. That's enough time to do dressing, mac and cheese, things of that nature. Because by the time you do all the preparation for dressing, and you gotta do your fix your broth. My mom taught me how to make dressing, so it's old school. So I'm making broth. I'm not buying it at the store, so that's a all day thing. And then the rest of the preparation for dressing, and then I do the turkey. This year we're not doing turkey. Um, One, my sister is vegan. Two, my niece's fiance, um, he doesn't eat turkey or any type of meat on a bone. And then the rest is like kids, and they not gonna eat no turkey. So we're just gonna buy some fried chicken and fish. I thought that was probably the best bet for everybody. I know everybody will eat that. My nephew will eat fish. He's not going to eat the chicken wings or any type of chicken um, that has that's on the bone. And then the kids will eat the chicken, and my niece and I are fine with chicken. We would be the only ones eating the turkey, and like my oldest son, he doesn't really eat turkey. He don't eat nothing Thanksgiving. All he wants is mac and cheese and a roll. he's he's still like that. He almost 30. He is 30, not almost. He still just eat that. um, but yeah, so I'm preparing for that. Um, I just got in. I still had like some things to. So back to I was saying that I'm gonna fix sweet potato pie. That's where I was going with this story. And so I waited until today to go get the sweet potatoes because I was going to do like a grocery pickup, but I didn't want them to choose my sweet potatoes. So I was like, I'll just go to the store. And I was going to go yesterday, but my youngest son is at his dad's house. And so I wanted to just rest. I didn't want to do anything. I had planned to like run my errands. My sister always makes fun of me. And you will hear me say my sister, my sister, my sister. Her name is Kim, but I'm going to say my sister. That's who she is, my sister. Um, she always makes fun of me because she's always like, why you always spend your weekends running errands? And because I used to not do that. You know, your weekend is for you to do whatever it is that you want to do. And most times, I mean, every now and then I would do a errand. But since I had my son, when he's at his dad's house, you know, when your kids are gone, you can whip and run in and out the store. You don't have to worry about somebody asking for a toy. Can you buy me a toy? Oh, I'm hungry. You know, you can run all day and not eat. And then that's how I usually do. And then I kind of got him trained to do that as well because it's just something that happens. But anyway, I mean, he'll have snacks or whatever, but he'll wait. Now he's like, no, I can wait till we get home. I'm like, okay. I was like, I didn't train him to do the same thing. I'll run my errands all day and not eat. Not saying that that's good, but if I sit down and have a meal and eat, then I'm gonna want to go home and go to bed. Or just go home and lay down. I'm tired. I'm done. So I like to get all my errands done, and then by the time I get back home, it's dinner, and then I'll just have dinner, put everything away, sit down and have dinner, and then I'm in for the night. But she used to always make fun of me, like, "You running your errands this weekend?" Yes, I am, because I can move in and out these stores and look and take my time and not be bothered about if somebody's touching something, want to buy something, they in the candy aisle. It's just easier that way. And I had no problem doing that because I really wasn't doing anything anyway. It wasn't like I was getting go hang out with the girl. I wasn't outside. I'm still not outside, and I'm okay with that. So, but I didn't run my errands yesterday, so I had planned to like go get a pedicure and manicure, um, and then I was going. I didn't have a lot of errands. I just needed to go to Walmart, get a few things, go to one of my local grocery stores, and get a few items there that I knew Walmart wouldn't have for uh, Thanksgiving. So I didn't do that yesterday. I didn't do anything except for every, I wouldn't say every month, every once in a while, my sister and my niece and I will do a girls' night. And so last month I was like, we need a girls' night. So that's what last night was. So I just stayed at home, chilled all day, and then got ready for girls' night. We ended up going to a Mexican restaurant. It was, I think my sister gave it a 5 out of 10. It was okay. Um, my food was good. I got shrimp tacos. My food was good. Um, okay, so I'm short. This is how the night started off. I'm short. So I don't like high tables because it's uncomfortable for me. So my feet are going to be dangling for like an hour. Even though the chair has that little bar you can rest your feet on, no, it's still not comfortable for me. And then if I sit up for so long, like my back is not able to rest, my back is going to start hurting. So it, we started off there. It was busy. It was busy, and the name of the restaurant is Anejo. Um, and I want to say it's like it's your upscale Mexican restaurant. They have plenty of drinks. Uh, they have like margarita flights, mojito flights, and another flight of something. We thought about getting the flights, and initially that's what I wanted to do, but it didn't turn out that way. My niece and I got something to drink. I just got a regular your classic margarita on the rocks, and she got, I think it was called Blue Lagoon. It looked good. I didn't get a chance to taste it, but it did look good. I think she said it was good. But so I got shrimp tacos. My sister got shrimp tacos. My niece got a chimichanga, and then she ordered. My niece ordered queso. So we started. I started off uncomfortable. Then my niece ordered queso, and it was just cheese. I mean, like it wasn't like a cut up pepper in it. Like sometimes you see color in the queso. It was just queso. It was just cheese. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was just cheese. And so we were like, okay, okay. And then the tacos came out. Mine's came with, you always, usually your sides are rice and beans. And I opted for double rice. Sometimes I'm in the mood for beans and sometimes I'm not. I'm not a big fan of refried beans anyway, but you could choose like refried beans. She said refried beans, black beans, and another type of bean. That whatever the third one was, like I wasn't very familiar with it and I wasn't in the mood for beans anyway. And she was like, you could get double rice. So that's what I got, double rice. And so my sister, I don't know, no, my niece got it too. Got rice and refried beans. And my sister was like, no, no. And she asked me to taste it, but by that time I was full because the margarita was in one of those big round glasses. And so I was drinking on that, eating on chips and salsa and the bland queso. And I mean, because we still gonna eat. I'm just saying, it's on the table. We gonna eat it. It wasn't that bad. I'll say that. And then I took like two bites of my shrimp taco, and I was full. And she was asking me to taste, and I was like, I'm too full. She was like, no, just dip your fork in it and taste. And I was like, no, seriously, I'm full. But we sat there long enough, where later on I was able to taste it, and my niece was like, "It tastes like bacon." And I tasted it. I was like, "It do taste like bacon," which it wasn't bad, but it was just different. And the refried beans is normally brown. These were white. I said they didn't brought you some navy beans. That's what that is. Them navy beans. Them ain't refried beans. So I'm not sure what type of bean they use, but that was my experience. And after a while, I was just uncomfortable because my back was hurting, my legs is dangling, and I couldn't sit back in the seat. I was like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I done had enough. Thank you. I'm ready to go. Today, y'all, since I was out running this morning, so I left the house at 8 this morning. Um, I didn't make my coffee. I normally make coffee at home, so um, I was like, let me go get me a coffee. And I love Scooters. I love Scooters coffee. I'm not a Starbucks girly. That's just not. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with their coffee. I just don't get the hype. So I just want coffee. And I don't normally if I go to at home I drink like black coffee, of course with my creamer and all the sugar. I actually put agave in it and all that stuff. But when I go to buy coffee at the coffee shop, I always get a mocha. So I got a small hot mocha is what I get. So yeah, I don't. Starbucks is nice, but I'll go to Scooters. I found that I like Scooters. We have Starbucks. We have a Scooters. We are supposed to. I think it's in North Kansas City. We were supposed to get a Tim Hortons. I don't know if that ever happened. because I really don't see any advertisement for it. And I forgot where I saw that they were building one. But yeah, I think we got one. I'm gonna have to look that up because I never been there. Many years ago when I was engaged. We'll talk about that another day. Anyway, I was once married, but not anymore. I think I told y'all that. But anyway, I was meeting his family and he's from New York. And so when I went up there, they didn't have scooters. They had Tim Hortons. His sister was telling me about Tim Hortons, and she was like, "I love Tim Hortons," and I still don't think I ever tried it. For some reason, we never got around to that. Um, they had Starbucks, and back then I was like, "No, I'm okay. I don't have to have Starbucks." And she was like, "We don't have a." I don't think they had a lot of Starbucks. They had a bunch of Tim Hortons, but I mean, of course, Starbucks was there, but she was like Tim Hortons. And so I never did try it, but like I said, that's the only reason I know I am familiar with it is what I am familiar with what it is. Um, but I still haven't tried it. And I think where no, maybe it's in Blue Springs. I'm gonna have to look it up, y'all, and try it and tell y'all. Maybe you guys have a Tim Hortons and you already know you're well aware of it. But anyway, for now it's scooters. I'll probably continue with scooters. So what I really came on here to tell y'all about is I bought a car. Yes, I did. Um, I don't know if I want to cheer for that because I have to tell you about my experience and why I even had to buy a vehicle. Okay, so let me take you back, way back in the time. Um, so I have been driving, and don't judge me because my car was the ish. I have been driving a back in 2007, I bought a 2006 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Oh, I almost choked at it. And I've been rocking with that Jeep since 2007. You hear me? Um, I wanted an SUV. That was the first vehicle I purchased on my own. And I mean, I got it and we was rocking and rolling in that SUV and my Jeep. And I don't know. I was excited. I love my car. I still loved my car. Up until you know what? Not up until I still love my car. I love that Jeep. That Jeep has done me well. And it was like it is a two-wheel drive because he's still alive. And I named him Tank. Because it was big. For me, back then when I purchased it, it was big. And I was like, this is like driving a tank. I think it was my cousin that actually said that. And I was like, it is. Like it's huge. So we um I named I named him Tank. And so the only I never really had any trouble out of Tank, even though it was a two-wheel drive. It always made me nervous in the winter to drive it because I was used to front wheel drive or whatever because I had a Taurus before that. And I think that was front wheel drive. All wheel drive was not a thing. And so, um, but it got around good in the snow. I didn't have any troubles. I think twice I got stuck in the snow. Um, but outside of that, it still made me nervous every time because who wants to get stuck? And then people be like, "You got an SUV," and y'all, all SUVs ain't four-wheel drive. Hello. So that would make me nervous. So I was always cautious because I don't want to get stuck. And yeah, it's a whole ordeal when you get stuck if you've never been stuck in the snow. Like it's annoying. But outside of that, me and Tank, we rolled. We was rolling. And so what had happened was I had got into a car accident. So it was a car driving down, it was a box truck. I was on my way to take my son to school, drop him off at school. And there was a box truck that was in the on the right side of me. He was further up. Um, and eventually he got into my lane. So he turned on his signal. He was far up, wasn't paying no attention to him. He wasn't bothering me. I could a box truck, you gonna notice it. I just see it. And I try to be very observant when I'm driving. I'm a great driver. A little fast sometimes, but I'm a good driver. So I always try to be aware of what's going on. And because people can't, yeah. Oh Lord, people can't drive. My goodness. Anyway, so he was ahead of me. And we were getting near the exit that I get off on. And I know the lane. I stay in that lane. I can ride that lane till we get off on the exit. There's no need for me to switch back and forth. Normally I have to, because you have your slow drivers, or for whatever reason the traffic is slowing down. But this morning I didn't have to do all that. I'm riding my lane. Everything is good, even though it was like a maybe a car in front of us, but eventually that car moved and he was the one in front of me. Again, fine. So what happened was he then the our exit was coming up, so I guess he didn't want to get off on that exit. So he turned his signal on to get over in the left-hand lane. He got over. So I was like, okay, he got over. Let me go ahead and go. I'm driving. Well, he decided that he wanted to get back over. And at that point, I'm assuming that he didn't see me. So he got over and he hit me. And so my exit, on the right hand side, there's like guardrails. So I'm like, I don't even think I honked my horn. I hit my brakes because by that time he had already slammed into me. I don't want to say slam. I think I'm still dealing with the effects of that because people drive stupid. But anyway, so with me trying to stop with him getting over, I also ran into the guardrail on the right hand side. So he hit me, and I guess he knew at that point that he hit me. I don't, and he got back over into the left hand lane. Excuse me. And then was getting ready to drive off, y'all. I was like, because by that time I came to a complete stop. And I'm thinking, well, he will too. He's going to pull over. Now we are on the highway. I don't know. I don't think I said that. We were on the highway. So, of course, there really isn't anywhere for you to pull over, but he wasn't going to stop. He kept driving through traffic. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. So, traffic behind us kind of slowed down because they saw what happened. And that gave me an opportunity to get into my left hand lane. I had to get two lanes over and then get behind him and honk my horn. Like, what are you doing? So I'm like, is he really driving off? I didn't see no license plate, no anything, but I'm taking pictures. I'm like, traffic was in the morning. You know how morning traffic is. So we were kind of at a standstill for a moment. And I was like, I don't know if he's going to continue to run or keep going or whatever. So let me see if I can get my phone and at least take a picture of the name on the truck. So that's what I did. And eventually we got to a point where he was able to find like the first exit and he got off, and I'm still like honking because I'm like, did you even acknowledge? So he finally pulled over and I'm sitting in my car because I don't know who is in this vehicle. So I'm waiting for him to like get out because you hit me. Get out the car. He never did. So I get out the car And I go to the driver's side and I see that there's two men in the car. And I'm like, hello, what's going on? And he was like, the passenger was like, he's calling the police. I said, they're not going to do anything. You can hang up with them. They're not going to do anything because no one was hurt. I said, and we already left the scene. So let's go ahead and exchange this information. So then he got off the phone with the police. I guess the police told him they're not coming. And then he decided to contact his employer or his boss. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Like, so little more info background. And not that this does not make me an expert on anything at all, but I have been in the insurance field for like 20 plus years. Um, Mainly commercial insurance. So I know the procedures on what needs to happen at this point when we are in an accident. So, and not that he knew that, but I'm just trying to direct, like, this is what's going to happen. This is what's not going to happen. So let's just go ahead and exchange information. I was in an accident before, and I hit this lady. I hit her from behind. You know how when you're getting off or not getting off, on ramps, getting into traffic. And so there was a car in front of me, and we were both looking back. So there was no traffic coming. And for whatever reason, I thought she had went, because it was like, that's why people can't drive. Like, you sat there for an hour and there was no traffic coming. And I thought she had went. So by the time I saw that no traffic was coming, I thought she was gone. So by the time I hit my gas and when I turned back around, she was still there. And so I hit the back of her, rear ended her vehicle. And so we drove and went to pulled over somewhere. And then um I'm like, well, let's exchange information. Do you have your driver's license? Do you have your insurance card? And she was like, well, you hit me. I said, absolutely. I was like, but we still need to exchange information. Should something happen, like you lose my information or something like that, then what do you don't have anything. So, and then if I contact my insurance company, they're going to ask me for your information. And I can't say, well, I don't have anything. And she was like, well, I can just contact your insurance company. Yes, but they're still going to ask me, well, who was the driver? And I'm going to say, oh, I don't know. She should be contacting you. No, we exchange information. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. You exchange information. Bottom line. Okay. So back to this incident. So eventually, he's still on the phone with his supervisor. And his supervisor is telling him what to do. And he told him, and he was like, I, I'm pretty sure he said, I'm sorry. This has never happened to him before. And I was like, you know what? I understand. And his boss was trying to tell him where to locate the insurance card within the vehicle. And so we did exchange information. We took pictures of each other's vehicle. Um, and I got home that day. I think it was the next day. I contacted his insurance company and I was getting the runaround. So again, it is commercial insurance. So sometimes there is a subsidiary of a subsidiary of a subsidiary. And that's what was happening. Like, oh, they are insured with us, but they're with this part of the insurance company. Oh, they are insured with us, but you have to contact uh was it risk management or something? And I'm like, just take the effing claim. Just take the information. And they were like, oh, well, we'll forward your information over to a risk management person and they'll do some investigation and get in contact with you. They have not contacted me to this day. And that was over a month ago. A little over a month ago when I contacted them. And so I wasn't getting anywhere. I didn't, well, what happened was a week went by and I didn't hear anything from them. And I did not want to get the runaround again. I'm I just want to get my car fixed. That's it. And it was still drivable. My Because I had drove it for like 2 weeks before. I'm busy. I didn't have time to sit down and everything is either I was gonna say over the phone. You can use your phone or your laptop to do the work or to turn in a claim. You don't even, I guess nowadays you don't even have to talk to nobody. It could be all done through email, text, all that. So I didn't have time to sit down and um, report the claim, report the accident. Um, and I remember she wasn't mean or anything, but I remember the lady asking like, "Why did it take you 2 weeks to give us a call?" And I did explain to her because she was like, "Was it just life, or you were busy, or you were trying to get in contact with the other insurance company?" I was like, "All of the above." And she was like, "No, don't worry about that. We're here to help you, blah, blah, blah." Um, so I was like, "Yeah, finally, I was going to contact you guys, but I just didn't have the time." And finally, one Sunday night, I was like, "Oh my God, let me start this claim." And as soon as I started that claim, my insurance company got the ball rolling. Like I had a vehicle the next day. Um, or I may have picked it up later that week, but it was reserved and all that good stuff. So, it was a smooth, easy transition. They came and picked me. I dropped my vehicle off at the body shop, found a body shop um, through them, of course, which is super easy because you don't want to be looking for a body shop unless you know one. Um, and then they also reserved my rental car. And then when I dropped my vehicle off, the rental company, the lady at the body shop was like, "Oh, you're with Enterprise. I just texted them, told them you were here. They should be here in a little bit to pick you up." I'm like, "Okay." Because I'm thinking to myself, now I got to find the number for Enterprise, tell them where I'm at, have them come pick me up or Uber or something like that. And she was like, "No." And she was like, "And when you come back to pick your car up, you can leave the rental here and they'll come get it." I was like, "Girl, thank you. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Service." So, um, I dropped my car off. Again, it is a 2006 um, Jeep Grand Cherokee. And um, it never dawned on me that it could potentially be totaled. I'm just thinking, fix the fender. So my fender is scratched, bent in, like some of the metal it's ripped, torn, whatever you want to call it. The driver's side mirror is hanging off. It's like hanging on a thread. And then, I mean, it doesn't look bad. And then on the passenger side, the fender is scratched from me driving into the guardrail. And it's just scratched up. So, but a week goes by. I don't even know if it was, no, it was a week because I dropped my car off on a Thursday. So I didn't hear anything until maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm so sorry. That's coffee. Um, and so I can't remember what how it happened. So I think I got an email from the insurance company saying, "Hey, um, your vehicle may be totaled, but we're still working with the body shop, and we'll be in contact." Basically, at the end of the day, that's what it said. Somehow, I think I called the body shop. Oh, I did. I contacted the body shop because I wanted to. So what happened was, before I had dropped my vehicle off, I mean, it was the only car I had. Um, well, before I even called called in the claim, I was still driving my car for like 2 weeks. And so my mirror, my driver's side mirror was hanging off. It was like hanging. And so I had went and bought some tape and taped it up so I can at least attempt to use it. Um, and so it was taped up when I dropped it off. And so I contacted the body shop and I wanted to make sure that they knew, although I mean, I'm pretty sure they could see the tape, but I wanted to contact them and make sure that they got, um, yeah, let me backtrack. I didn't get an email first. Um, the body shop sent me a text saying that they had wrote up an estimate on my car and sent it to the insurance company and basically we're waiting. That's what happened. And so I was like, okay, but let me make sure I call. Um, Let me call them and make sure that they got that. Um, the driver's side included that driver's side mirror. And so I called them and she was like, yes, we did get that. We also got the passenger side mirror as well. And she was just like, um, I just want you to know that it's looking like it could be totaled, but we don't know until we hear from the insurance company. And I was sad. I was like, I love my car. And I was going through a lot anyway, because that was around the time that I was still like fasting to get a have a closer relationship with God. If you want to know about that, that's in my previous video. I was already, I think, emotional about a bunch of stuff anyway. And so when she was talking to me, I was like, why am I crying about a car? It's a car. Like, it's going to be okay. And I was like, I don't know why I'm so sad. And she was like, it's okay. I was like, I didn't call her for her to comfort me. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sad. Like, I love my car and I do love my car. I was rocking with tank until the wheels fell off. You understand me? Like that is my car. So she was like, I know, I understand. She was like, but it's just a car. And she was like, you have to remember everybody that was in the car, everybody came out okay, and you're fine, and you're up and you're walking around. She was like, it's just a car. And I was like, I know. I was like, oh my God, yeah. And even after I hung up, I was still like sad. I was like, why? It's a car. Like, it is a car. Why are you crying? Why are you so sad? Why are you so emotional? But so and then what ended up happening is the insurance company initially they said, hey, it may be totaled, but let us talk to the body shop and see if we can get it fixed. And then I got an email saying, hey, we're gonna fix it. I was like, yes. Da, 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 da. Then I got a phone call saying, sorry, no ma'am, it's totaled. And so I was like, I'm thinking to myself, how could it be totaled? And I know the reason that it's totaled is because the to fix the car would be a lot more than what the car is worth. I know the reason why it's totaled, but I'm thinking, is it like $5,000 to fix my car? Like, what's going on? And so the adjuster was just basically like, um, here are your options. We'll pay you for the car, go get your things out the car, and then we'll just take care of it from there. And then that's when I was telling him, I was like, but it's drivable. Like, nothing was wrong. I had been driving it for 2 weeks before I even took it in. And then he was like, well, you can do it on a retain owner, whatever it's called. Basically, I can keep it. He was like, we'll still pay you for it, but certain fees are going to be applied and not applied. And gonna this is what we'll give you for your car. It is going to be salvaged, titled. I can't get the words out, y'all, but stay with me. Um, and if you want to take your car and go get it fixed, that'll be completely on you. So I don't want no car payment. Look, y'all, I haven't had a car payment in over 10 years. So, and I can be indecisive. And so I was going back and forth about, um, I was going back and forth about a car. So I was like, do I just take this money, get my car fixed, or do I just go purchase a new one? What do you want to do? So I don't I don't want a car payment. I I just don't. And um I was talking to my dad about it and he was like, your car is 20 years old. You need to go get you a new one. And then I was telling him about it. Then I was telling my sister about it. And then, you know what my sister said? What she said? Did you pray about it? I was like, no, I know I need to pray about it. And so I did pray about it. And I heard, go get your car. So I was still going back and forth about it. Um, the insurance guy was like, okay, I understand. Go ahead. I know that it can be a hard decision. Go ahead and weigh your options. He was like, I just don't want this to turn into like a 3 week thing. Or not, he didn't even say 3 weeks. I think he was like 8 weeks. I was like, no, I won't make you wait that long. I'll make a decision by like this weekend. And I still think I took like a week later to make a decision. So I started looking at cars, weighing the pros and cons about that. And when you get into an like my rental was a 25, 2025 Nissan Altima. First of all, I'm not a sedan girl anymore. So to be that low and somebody rolling up on me, I was like, oh no. Because when I'm in tank, at least I'm eye level and I'm like, what? Did you? I know you. Did you just roll up on me? I don't think so. But in the sedan, I'm like, oh, hi, hello. No, mm-mm. Um. But being in that car, having all those features, I was like, well, okay, hey, features, I like this. Um. But again, I was like, I've been surviving in tank for this long. I really don't need I do need all those things. The only thing, I know it may seem a little crazy, but the only thing I really liked in new vehicles is that blind spotting. Let me know when a car's rolling up on me so I won't get over. I ain't got or no, the little yellow light is on. Little yellow, little red, little blue, whatever color it is, that light is on. So you can't get over. Or it's going beep, 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 beep. That I like that. I like that. That's the only thing I wanted. And a sunroof. I was determined. I've been determined to get a sun. I wanted a sunroof when I got tank, and that didn't happen. But okay. But that's really the only feature that I really like on the new cars. Like that's helpful for me. Everything else, I'm good. I got my cruise control. I mean, I didn't have. I kind of. I didn't have Bluetooth in my car, so like listen to the radio sometimes was difficult, or listening to my phone music on my phone was difficult, or taking phone calls. That was and but I mean, I managed, so that wasn't a big huge thing for me either. It was convenient. I liked it when I had my rental, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't anything I was like, oh, I need a new car. I'll take that car payment. No. So um I went back and forth about, do I want a car? Do I want to fix mine? And then again, I was talking to my dad, and he was just kind of like, you can go get it fixed, but it's just a matter of time. And then I was like, okay. And then, like I said, I did pray about it. And what I heard was go get you a car. Now, I don't think I heard what kind of car to get, but that's what brings us to the next part of the story. So I do a lot of highway driving. And what I found out is the engine that I have in my car now is a V6. And what I'm finding out is those are starting to be obsolete. There are very few vehicles with a V6 engine. And I also, I'm gonna say about a year ago, I just happened on Instagram stumble upon a guy that was at a body shop, a mechanic, not a body shop, a mechanic. I don't think those are the same things. And he just talked to the different mechanics within that body shop was that would talk about different vehicles. He would just ask them questions. So I started following them, and I started hearing from them. Not only that particular Instagram person group or whatever, but another one too, others, multiple. And they would talk about what vehicles would that they wouldn't buy or vehicles that they see in the shop a lot. And I was like, those are other vehicles that I like. So I heard, because if you know me, and I always told people if I ever got a new car, what I wanted was a GMC Acadia. I loved those cars. Ever since I saw it, that's all I ever wanted. But after listening to these people, these mechanics, GMCs, let me see, GMC. I'm trying to think. Now I went blank. GMC, Jeep, Chrysler. There's a third one. Are vehicles that are always in the shop. GMC Acadia, Terrain, Jeep Grand Cherokee. They would say any Jeep. The only Jeep they probably did not see a lot is the Wrangler. Um, there is another brand. Some did say Kia, some said Hyundai, but I heard those, but not a lot. Like they would say, certain years where they've gotten better, but certain years were not as good. So, in the cars that they didn't see a lot would be Honda, Toyota, and Nissan. So, I went on a hunt. First of all, I'm buying a used vehicle. I don't want anything new. Well, unbeknownst to me, a used vehicle costs just as much as a new vehicle did 20 years ago. So, I had to get over that real quick. And it also, of course, depends on what type of vehicle you want to purchase. Again, I wanted something with the V6. So everything and your Honda, Toyota, and Nissans are going to be more expensive. So everything that I was looking at was already going to be 30,000 or more. Could I got something cheaper? Yep. But was it could I looked at vehicle brands less expensive? I could have. But I feel like that buying it used, I don't I just felt like it wasn't going to last long. And I was determined to get a V6. So, with a V6, my options were Honda Pilot, Nissan Murano. I think the Nissan Murano had a V6. Um, a Toyota Highlander, and maybe one other vehicle. Kia Telluride. Hyundai Palisade has a V6, but that didn't come up. Um, so then I had to dwindle it down according to what I wanted to spend because I just I didn't want a car payment, and then I didn't want to be paying a lot. So after looking at all these options, doing my investigating, and I didn't want to pay more than and this isn't even out the door price. So I didn't want to pay $35,000 on a vehicle that was like a 2002 because these cars are expensive. I didn't want to pay a 2002. a 2022. I didn't want to pay 35,000 for a 2022 vehicle with 60,000 miles on it. No, I didn't want to do that. But that's what it was looking like. So then I had to come to terms that I would probably have to spend that much on a vehicle. And I was trying to get something in the low 30s. That was proven to be difficult. Um, so Toyota and Honda was out because it just wasn't going to happen. Unless I got the vehicle from somewhere else. And then that still would have, which I would have had to pay for shipping. So it would have put me right back in the same bracket that I didn't want to be in. So Honda and Toyota was out, which I was kind of sad about because I did want to get one of those vehicles. A Honda um, Pilot is what I wanted to get. And then I was looking at the Nissan Murano, but I was doing my research on that, and some people reported having trouble with. Um, I wish I would have looked up the abbreviation for you guys. I think it was CVT, continuous variable transmission. Like the transmission would have issues after so long. And I'm like, if I'm only looking at a 22 or newer and used, I don't want those kind of problems. So that left me with the Kia Telluride or Hyundai Palisade. So I decided on those two vehicles. I got down to those two vehicles. I test drove and I took my dad with me. I finally found one. It was still a little bit more than what I wanted to pay, but I was like, okay, let's just go. Let's look at it and then we can figure out what the out the door price is. Maybe we can ask them to take a little something something off. And I took my dad with me because I'm not a haggler. I don't like all that. That whole sales thing, and I don't need all that. I don't need you to sell me on the vehicle. I don't need you to tell me how much you think the vehicle is worth. All I know is I don't want to worry about car payments. That's not my concern. And they could not understand that. I just want to know how much. I have a price in my head on how much I want to pay for this vehicle. And that's what I'm concerned about. How much I already figured out what the car payment is. And I was like, I'm okay with that. Just in my head, I didn't want to pay $40,000 for a used vehicle. And they were like, oh, well, what do you want your car payment to be? I'm not concerned about that. And they're correlating that okay, if she's worried about paying $40,000, then she must not want a $700 car payment. No, I don't want to pay $40,000 for a used vehicle. So that's what I'm saying. Hear that. And I hate that. So that's what I was worried about. It may not make sense to you, and that's fine, and it shouldn't. And it doesn't have to because you're not making those car payments. That's not your choice. So it says you're not making those car payments. It's not your decision on how much you want to spend on a vehicle. That was just me. I didn't want to spend, I just didn't want to do that. So anyway, oh God, they pissed me off so bad. The whole process because I wasn't expecting to go purchase a vehicle and then to be I don't know. I'm gonna get to it, but I walked away from there not feeling good, and I don't know why I didn't leave. I should have just left. And just because it is a good deal doesn't mean it's a good deal, and that's what I'm saying. So I'm saying, telling you the story too for women. Don't be afraid to go in there, and I know some women are intimidated, and I saw some things too where you can do it over the phone. Like they can send you, you don't have to go in there. It's possible for them to do it over the phone. And if they don't want to give you the information and email you a price, out the door price, and do that over the phone, you just don't deal with them because there are some dealerships that will. So if you don't feel comfortable doing that, going into a dealership, find somebody that will do that. If they want to sell a car, they're going to sell a car at the end of the day. Don't Remember that. And so I went and I took my dad with me. I went and test drove. So I found a 2024 Kia Telluride EX. So not the top of the line, but the top of the line, right? It had a lot of features on there that I thought were really great. I test drove it. I mean, when I just tapped the gas and I was like, "Vroom," I was off. And I was excited about that because we have a bunch of on ramps. I'm sure every state does, but these on ramps, and you got to hit the gas because it doesn't give you, our on ramps don't give you a bunch of, a lot of lane space for you to drive and get over. It's very short. It's very short. You got like, I don't, I can't tell you, it ain't it's short. So you gotta punch that gas and get over. You don't have time to be or we do have yield signs. And I can't stand the people that yield. You you pause. You pause and then you get over. You don't, or they don't even yield. They stop. Why are you stopping? Why are you stopping? Now we got to sit here for an hour because you know you're not going to get over when you got 20 cars going 70. So now we got to sit here and wait. That's why what I tend to do is if there's a car in front of me and we both getting on the highway, I'm going to slow down and let that car go. Because 9 times out of 10, that car is going to hit their brakes and they're going to sit there. I'm not doing that. No, we're going to merge into this traffic. Okay? Because you got some space. You're going to let me get over. We're going to merge and put that blinker on. You better slow down behind me because we're getting over. So, anyway, test drove the vehicle. It was really nice. So, they wanted like 33. That was the price, not the out the door price. That was the price for the vehicle. They wanted 33. Then they got, oh, this is going to be a long video, y'all, because I didn't even get to the, okay. We just still at the beginning. I got to tell you what my daddy did. Okay. So, they wanted 33. I didn't want to pay that much. Then they wanted to put on, they have their warranty, which with Kia, you get 100,000 miles, 10-year warranty. With the being used, they were still offering that. Um, but these warranties are expensive. Why is this not built into the car? I want the warranty. But I think what's built into the car is that they have a 6-year, 60,000 miles. Um, and then you can get the extended. And I know people are like, don't ever get the extended warranty. I'm gonna tell you why I got it. I got why I considered it. I did get it, but I'm gonna tell you why I considered it. It's a used vehicle. I don't know what's gonna happen. The factory warranty was gone. No, the factory warranty isn't. Excuse me. The factory warranty is not gone on my vehicle, but it will soon be up. I only had so many miles before I got there, and with it being a used vehicle, I don't know what's going to happen. And I did not feel like going out to shop for an extended warranty. So that's why I got it. Still may not, that's my choice. That's why I got it. And it's bumper to bumper. That was another reason why I got it. Normally, extended warranties are just for like the powertrain, but this one is bumper to bumper. That's another reason why I got it. Anything happens to the vehicle, I got to like get to 120,000 miles and I can take that vehicle in and get it repaired. Is it still a scam? Probably, but 9 times out of 10, unless it's wear and tear, I can take it in and get it done for free or my $100 deductible. Anyway, so I have the cost of the vehicle. Um, that was like 30, over 33. It was close to 34,000. Yeah, it was. And then they didn't want to come down on that. Then you got the warranty. And then you have what they call, I'm gonna call it, that's it's not what it's called, but I'm gonna say scratch and dent. And that was like $2,000. And their warranty was 4. And I was like, what is this? What is the scratch and dent? What is that? And I was like, oh, if you get any door dings, if you door dings or paint chips or scratches, you can bring it in and we'll take care of it for free, blah 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 blah. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not. I'm not gonna do that. Take it off. Take that off. Without, and then you got your doc fee, dealership fee. That is something that you have to pay. I'm assuming that's in all states, but I don't know. That's basically how the dealership gets paid. Um, but it ended up coming in over like $41,000, and I was like, absolutely not. And they was like, oh, it's a great deal, and da, 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 da. So they wanted the car was for 33. I was like, no, I'll give you 31. And so they were like, oh, well, no, this car is really worth. Then they want to come pull out all their paperwork. I don't give a shit about how much you think this car is worth. I don't care. Somewhere within all these fees, you're going to make your money. So I don't care. And they're like, well, I know you probably don't care. I don't. And see, I am not a mean person. I try not to be rude. I don't want to be rude. Do your spiel. But on the inside of me, I'm like, I don't care. And I'm like, mm-hmm. You're not gonna, okay, I'm gonna leave. So the following weekend, me and my dad go out again. This time I'm going to go test drive a Hyundai Palisade. So I do that. Test drive it. It was nice. It was a really nice car, but it wasn't as smooth. Even my dad noticed it. He was in the passenger seat this time. I mean, y'all, when I went to go test drive that Telluride, I wish I could have recorded my father. So the salesman was in the passenger seat with me. My dad was in the back seat. He like, oh, can you lean these seats back? Can do these seats do this? Can I get air back here? How do you do the heat? I was like, this is about me. And you trying to get comfortable back there. So the salesman is like, yeah, you can lean those seats back. They do lean back. That's something I wouldn't even have thought to ask. What seats, what rear seats lean back? And it's 3 rows. So I have a third row. But this is the second row directly behind the driver. So, and the guy was like, yeah, those seats lean back. I'm thinking my daddy just talking. But apparently those seats lean back. He found that out. He can, I want to say those seats have heat warmers in the back, and he was able to control his own air back there. Uh, Maybe it was heat because it's getting cold, so he wanted to turn the heat on. Daddy, are you comfortable? Hmm? How's it ride back there? Are you good? He was like, I'm good. Are you? He enjoyed it. So he was on board because at first he was like, oh, the kid tell you right, that thing is ugly. And I'm like, no, I like it. But by the time we left, he was even on like, did you find you another kid to tell you right? Where the other tell you right? I was like, mm-hmm. You like that car, don't you? But yes, my daddy. Oh my God, you guys, I'm gonna have to just record my father. He is hilarious at times. But yeah, he was in the back seat, chilling. He he loved it. It was a smooth ride for him. So the next weekend, we went to go test drive the Hyundai Palisade, and he was like, "It's nice," and he was like, "But I don't feel like it rode as smooth." He was like, "What did you think?" I was like, "It didn't. It wasn't. I was gliding." And the Palisade was kind of not like that, but I still liked it. I don't know, because I like the whole push button to park, push button to drive. I like that, but again, I can live with it or without it. If I have to shift it, that's automatic to drive, that's fine. But I thought that was when you get a new car. So I we test drove it, and another big thing was the color. It was like silver, not gray, silver. And I was like, I was trying to make myself love it. and I just couldn't. And the salesman, and I really liked the salesman at Hyundai. Like he was like one of the top salesmen. So he was that it wasn't his attitude. He didn't have an attitude, but he was honest enough to the point like what I got from him is like I sell 30 cars a month. So if you don't want to purchase this vehicle, it ain't gonna hurt me. If you don't like it, don't buy it. And he specifically said, "What did you think?" And I told him I was like, "It's okay." And he was like, "Well, you know, what didn't you like?" And I was like, "I don't know." I said, "I know it's not a huge thing, but I really didn't like the color." And he was like, "Well, how long do you plan on keeping it?" And I was like, he was like, "Till the wheels fall off." I said, "Till the wheels fall off." And he was like, "That's a long time." And he was like, "If you don't like the color, you don't like the color." And I tell you, like I tell my other clients, my other customers, don't get it. Don't get it. You don't want to purchase nothing that you have to and you're settling for. Don't get it. I was like, oh, thank you. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get it. And he was like, if something else comes in, then I'll let you know. And he asked me like, what else have you been looking at? And I told him Kia Telluride, and their site had one, but he was like, I don't think we have one. And he was like, well, let me see. He was like, because we do all of our site has all of their dealership vehicles on there. So it may not be here. So let me go and see. And I would have see if they had it that tell you right there, I would have purchased it from him. He could have sold me everything under the sun. And because of how he was as a salesman, I would have been like, yeah, you're right. I'm purchasing. But he did look it up and it was a vehicle that they had in Colorado. Um, and so I was like, dang it. And it was black on black on black. I was like, yes. But they didn't have it. So we were at a Hyundai dealership. And what had happened was my dad started talking to the salesman about them having a Genesis dealership not too far from where we were. And he was like, yeah, they should be. No, he was like, I thought they were going to build a Genesis dealership next door. He said, they are, it's just not up yet. Da 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 da. They go on. And the guy says, we have a Genesis here. My daddy said, then pull it out then. They pulled that Genesis out. Apparently I did hear my dad is also in the looking for a vehicle too. Again, he's not in a rush for getting one. So, when he found one, he found one. I knew I know he mentioned that he wanted a Genesis and he was talking to me about it. Um, but I didn't pay any more mind to it. Sorry, I was looking at the time. It's neither here nor there, but I just wanted to see what time it was. So it just didn't dawn on me. So the guy pulled it out. I was like, this is a Genesis? This is noise. Okay. And so they pulled it out. It was red with the mixed with a little black because the windows were trimmed in black. It had black stripes on it. Um, and then when you looked inside, the interior was like a navy. It was a dark color because they had to tell me what it was. I assumed it was black, and the seat belts are red. And I was like, "What?" And the car, I don't know about Genesis because I never looked at it. You hit a button, and the car just backs out of its space parking spot by itself. What? Where they do that? Where they do that at? It was if a car is fully loaded, this was super loaded. Like it had everything. So we test drove it. It was nice. I was like, Daddy, we might have to fight over this car. But it just wasn't big enough for me. It had it been a little bit bigger, I would have been right on in there. I'm saying I'm sorry, Daddy. When they get this this is my time. When they get another one in here, then you can go get that one. But this one's mine. But we test drove. They was like, take the keys, go. We'll see you when you get back. We test drove that thing. My daddy test drove it because he was like, this is for me. And then as we were test driving it, he was like, you want me to pull over so you can test drive? I was like, yes. That car is smooth. It like took off. And so what happened? I went looking for me a car. Who bought a car? My daddy bought a car. My daddy bought a car that night. We at the I was about to say DMV. We're at the dealership all night. I mean, till they was closed. And he purchased him a vehicle. He didn't take it home that night. Why? They had to detail that man's car. They gonna wash it, detail it. You come back here on Monday, and we'll have your car for you. I was like, what? For real? So I told everybody that story how I went to go look for a car and I took my father with me and he purchased a vehicle. Yeah. He did. So he had his car. And so I continued to look. And he was like, you want to go up to such and such next weekend and weekend? I said, mm-hmm. It was another city in Missouri. I can't think of where it was. Somewhere. It was like 2 hours away from where we are. But we was gonna go up there and take a look. Manhattan, Missouri, or was it Manhattan, Kansas? Remember Manhattan, Kansas. We was gonna go to Manhattan. It was 2 hour drive, and we was gonna look at another Telluride that I thought was really nice. Um, and the Tellurides that were in my price range were I was looking at year 2022 or newer, but the ones that were really in my price range was year 22. So this one was a 22. And some of them may have had higher mileage on it, but that was to be expected. It was a 22. So I could get anywhere from 50,000 miles on up. And I think this one was like at 63, 65. But I was like, that's just give and take, sacrifices. Those are some of the things that I'm just going to have to do if that's the kind of car I want and to stay within this price range. So I'm looking, and what do I find on the internet? The vehicle that I test drove 2 weeks ago is now $3,000 less than what it was. hmm Same vehicle. I said, well, ain't this about a boopity boop boop boop? So I call the dealership the next day because this was Sunday night. Monday, call the dealership the next day. And I had the salesman. He was a really nice guy too. He was nice. But yeah, anyway, I'll get to that. So I contact the salesman and I ask him, "Hey, is that 24 still there? Like is that the same vehicle that I test drove?" And he was like, yep, I'm pretty sure it's still here. Yes, it's the same if it's still here, yes, that is the vehicle that you test drove." And I was like, "And how much is the price on it?" And he was like, "Well, whatever the price is on the online is what the price is." Hmm. Okay. I offered y'all 31.5. Y'all didn't want to give me that. But now it's $30,000. And don't get me wrong, any other 24 Kia Telluride that I was looking at was, besides that one, they were running about 35,000 and up. My car, because it is now my car, had like 39,000 miles on it. That kind of was like, but it's some things I just, yeah. Anyway, so he said they still had it. And I told him that I would be there later today to come and purchase it, come and look at it, right? So knowing what I already knew, because I was already there, that and also watching my dad purchase his vehicle, um, he got a warranty too. His wasn't as good as mine. But um and again, I know salesmen are salesmen, but um because my dad wasn't going to purchase their warranty either, but he and I were talking before the guy came in. And he was like, for him, it made sense because the type of vehicle that he's getting with all the things that are on it and as much and how um, much electronics is within that car, he would feel more comfortable if the warranty was with Hyundai because they know exactly how their car is built and how it works. So it just made sense for him. And I was like, yeah, I get that. I understand that. And as much as the mechanicals, electronicals going on with these vehicles nowadays, I would feel more comfortable too. And I was like, I agree with you. I understand where you're coming from. It just that made sense to me. Um, so even with talking with my dad and how he got that warranty, I was like, I know going in to buy this vehicle that I already want to get their warranty and it's going to be like 30, I mean not 30, $4,000. Um, so I knew I was going to get that. The car was 30. The warranty was 4. I knew they had a dock fee that was like, I think it was $700. And I think there was like some other little taxes. And I knew I didn't want that scratch and dent. Last time I was in there, they took that scratch and dent off. So I go in there and they bring me the sheet with all the out the door price, right? And I had talked to my dad beforehand. Initially, my out the door price, before I even went to look for a vehicle, my out the door price was 30. I didn't want to pay no more than $30,000 for a vehicle. Could I get one for that? Yes. Could I get what I wanted for that? No. So that's why my price had went up. So I was like, I'll go a little bit higher. So I go in, they bring me the sheet, and of course, all the things are on here. How much the vehicle is, scratch and dent. They put a new tire and wheel on here. I was like, is this for the tire and wheel thing wasn't on the last one? Is this for a distraction? Like, what is going on? Then they had, um, of course, like I said, your dock fee, your dealership fee, the other little taxes, and then the warranty. And I was like, that thing, why is it like $4,800? Like it was not that. Like when I saw it the first time, I was still like taken back because I'm like, that's how much they are. Because when I bought my, and you really don't need that extended warranty. No, I take that back because I want to say that extended warranty came in handy when I had that Jeep. Nope, when I had another car previously. Um, you really don't. But anyway, back then I could my that warranty was like $800 maybe. And I get that these vehicles are so um I keep saying technical, but that's not the word that I want to use. Like the mechanics within it, like your screen and your all that. It's a lot of going on. And that's how it works. You got your remote, your push start and your remote start. I get that. So of course those things have to increase. And again, it's been 20 years since I had a car, y'all. So, you know, work with me. So initially I was like, I don't want that scratch and dent. You take that off. And he was like, well, he's not going to take that off. What do you mean? I was like, you did last time I was in here. Take that off. Well, he's not going to remove that. That was, and I'm going to, and maybe there's some men out there too. So, but I'm going to speak to my ladies. I am notorious or guilty of not listening to my gut when it speaks to me. I always out talk myself, thinking You're just tripping. You're overthinking and justifying that feeling. In that moment, my gut said, get up and leave. I did not. And this is where I struggle with the purchasing of that vehicle. So he didn't want to take that off. And I said, well, okay, give me the car for 29.5. They went back, they do the back and forth. He wasn't going to do that. My daddy said I did ask for them to lower the price of the scratch and dent. I don't remember doing that, but it didn't get done. And so I was like, well, when last time I came in here, that warranty was not that much. And he was like, I said, why is the warranty so high? That wasn't the cost last time I came in here. And he said that he was like, well, how much was it? And I was like, 35. I could have swore it was 3,500. So this is also why you need to like, I doubt if they would have let me have a copy of the deal that they wrote the first time, but I could have easily like took a picture. You know what I'm saying? Because my daddy was saying the same thing. Like, I think that warranty was a lot cheaper than that. I'm like, I think it was too. But I mean, regardless, I still would have took it. But don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. So they went back. He was like, well, I can give you the warranty. It was for 10 years. I was like 10 years from today and 100,000 miles. He was like, yes. And he was like, what I'll do is give you, um, bump it up to 120,000 miles. I was like, okay, but I'm still not paying that price. That's not the price that you gave me the first time. I'll take the 10-year 100,000 for the price that I got. And he was like, well, let me go look. They came back and gave me still let me have it for the 120,000, but gave me the price that they said they were charging the first time. And I was still like, okay. And so I just sat there and I was like, so the initial time they offered it to me, it was still like 41 something, I think. And I'm like, how is it still 41 and the car is 30? It's like $3,000. What? Or maybe it was 38. No, no. It was like 39.40. I was like, no, I'm not. No, we're not doing that. I'm not here for that. Like, that. And so he took off the tire and wheel. They lowered the um, warranty. And then I think it was still like 38. And I was sitting there like, I'm just not trying to do the scratch and dent. Like, I said, that's the only thing I'm not trying to do. And I know if they would have took that off, he wouldn't have been making no money on it. 'Cause technically the car is worth $35,000. I'm just saying. And so he was like, he's not going to remove it. And so I was like, well, let me just sit and think about it for a while. And so my daddy was like, have you been looking at these cars? I was like, I have. He was like, you know how much these cars are worth and how much they're going for because you've been out there doing the research. So can you go out there and purchase a 2024 Kia Telluride EX with all the features that you have on it and for $30,000? I was like, no, not at all. He was like, do you think that's a good enough deal? And he was like, if I can get him to come down on now, he was like, I know how much you want to spend, how much you raised yours up to, but if I can get him to come down to another, I think it was like another $1,000 or something. He was like, "Will you take the deal?" He was like, "It don't sound like they're gonna remove that scratch and dent. He's not gonna do that." He was like, "So either you," I was like, "Daddy, I don't want that scratch and dent." I wasn't crying, but I was like, "I don't want that. I don't want." He was like, "They not gonna remove it." And my father felt like I was getting a good deal. And if I just look at the car price itself, it was a good deal. I'm I couldn't get any. It just wasn't. I wasn't gonna get a 24 for for that amount. So the car itself, yes, great. But what was pissing me off was you still trying to make your money, and I get that. And you gonna make your money. You still gonna get more money. You're gonna get your money. So just don't play in my face. Like that is something that I don't have to have. Like that is optional coverage. And for you to tell me that you're not going to take that off, that's just rude. Like, and you were willing to take it off the first time? Come on. And my dad was like, "Well, we can keep looking." And I was like, "I'm tired of looking." He was like, "You should," that's just my dad. "You should never be tired of looking." I was like, "I am." I said, "But if I have to, I will." And he was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And he was like, "I think it's a good deal." So, but it ain't my car. He was like, "That's a nice car, but it ain't gonna be mine. I ain't gonna be driving it. That's you." And I walked away. I bought the car. And I was not happy. I wasn't happy. You're supposed to be happy when you get you a new car. I wasn't happy with that deal at all. And that's when I was like, "You should have walked away." Regardless of how good that deal was or how cheap that car was. Inexpensive. It wasn't cheap. Inexpensive for the type of vehicle you're getting. If it didn't sit right with you, walk away. There will be other good deals. Tank is running, and Tank is good, but Tank ain't good. Like sometimes I'm like, "Tank, is you burning? What's going on?" So with that, and I felt like I was in desperate need, but I wasn't in desperate need. Can Tank hang on? Tank absolutely could have hung on. It can. And I couldn't trade my car in because they don't take salvage vehicles because they were willing to take my vehicle, but they couldn't take it because it was considered totaled. So, and that I completely understood. And I wasn't trying to put that on them. I didn't even ask them to take it because I knew it was totaled. And at first they were like, "Oh, we could take it." But then they came back and said they could. That was the first time I was there. But, and I was okay with them, me not having, um, using that as a trade in. But that deal didn't sit well with me. But like I was, y'all, I was upset. Like not angry, just I was upset with myself because I shouldn't have I sh- I should have walked away and I didn't. And that is always a lesson for me. Like walk away. Like there'll be other good deals. And I'm always like, "But when? Is there? Will there really be?" I think I'm walking away from a good deal. So don't walk away from a good deal. But there will be other, it may not be that deal, but there'll be something else that you will be satisfied with. And I think that is my lesson. And I get that lesson a lot because I feel like I'm doing the right thing and it's never the right thing. It's not. When my gut tells me, I won't say I don't never listen to my gut, but um sorry, I'm looking. I can see the front door. So I'm like, "Who is that?" I just don't when I should. Especially making a purchase like that. Now, is it, y'all, at the end of the day, is it a good deal? Yes. But that scratch and dent just, it really made me upset. It really made me upset. And that's when I should have walked away. That is when I should have walked away. Because there aren't any other, I mean, there may be. There aren't any other dealerships. Like, they can't make you pay for that. They can't make you pay for that. And I'm pretty sure had I walked away and somebody else came to purchase it, they would have walked away too. They wouldn't have. They would have been like, "Take that off," unless it's something they was really interested in. But I know I'm not. I'm gonna take it. I know I'm not gonna use it. Seriously. What? Mm. But anyway, that was my experience in purchasing my vehicle. I had the hugest buyer's remorse, and I still am kind of struggling with that. Um, is my car nice? It is. It is really nice. I have a lot of features on it. I don't know what fully loaded is because to me, all these cars are fully loaded. And honestly, is that a thing? Do people still say, "Oh, it's fully loaded"? I think they did say that. Is it? I mean, these things are normal. Like, you, is there a car come that you can get without blind spotting? Um, are there any cars nowadays that are made without Bluetooth? So I don't know what makes it fully loaded. My V6 is there. Um, I think it has parking lane assist. It does have some other little features like it can. I forgot how it explained it. Like, it can drive by itself, but it won't drive by itself, kind of thing. I forget. It has something to do with the um, cruise control. Um, and like, I can, it has a adaptive cruise control, so I can speak to it, give it different commands, and it does different things like change the temperature in the car, um, change the radio station. I can speak to the navigation without me having to type it in. um, my back seats lean back. I did get my roof. Those were my only, well, three: V6, blind spotting, roof. Those were my only requirements in me getting a vehicle, honestly. That's it. Like, I'm not difficult. Those other things, they're nice, but, and I think there's a few other things that my car has. It does have push button start, remote start. Um, like the trunk lifts up by itself. I can give that command and it does that. So, I mean, it's nice. It is nice. It is nice. But I don't like the way the deal went down. So, to, I say my ladies, but again, I always say to, if there are men out there that don't like to negotiate and stuff like that too, um, you can do the stuff over the phone. You don't have to go into the dealership. Um, and then if it doesn't, and I'm saying this for me too, if it doesn't feel good in your gut, walk away. Don't do it. Don't do it. I always try to dismiss or justify that feeling. And sometimes I don't feel it as strong, but in that moment, it was strong. Like, walk away. Walk away. And I still didn't walk away. I probably could have came back 2 weeks later and got that same vehicle for that same price, but without the extra ish. So, But and then I wanted I will say too, um, I don't know if this was like you. I'm speaking to my people that are on their journey or walk with God, and when you try to hear God speak to you, so I'm still trying to figure that out as well, um, and know that when I hear something, like just know in my body that it is God speaking to me, which is so funny. Um, my sister, of course, I had that conversation with my sister, and she just so I don't know. I'm sorry if you don't have a big sister, but you better go get you one. You better go get you a big sister because she is always looking out. So I've had that conversation with my sister about, knowing if it's God speaking to me or if it's just my own voice. How about she send me a video on that exact same thing with gosh, I forget her name. I like her. I don't think she's a pastor, but she does speak in churches a lot. Um and I don't know why I want to say her name is not Crystal. Her last name is Shire. She's an African American woman. She's a black lady. And God, she's an actress too. She's played in a couple of movies. Um, she played in Prayer Room, War Room, one of those. But anyway, I think she's coming out with a new book. And she's kind of speaking about this. So my sister, I'm like, girl, how do these things that I'm talking to you about always fall in your lap? And then I get a video like a day or two later. Like, are you researching this? Should I or am I not doing something? But I do. I love my sister. I'm telling you, go get you one. Go get you a big sister. Um, but she always sends me the things that we have spoken about. And when I'm questioning, not necessarily questioning God, just questioning myself on, I don't know if this is right or if I'm listening to the right thing or am I doing the right thing or this is what I heard or whatever the case may be. Anyway, she sent me that video and then it talks about hearing how to hear God and what they may look like for you or sound like for you. And I say that to say that with me not feeling good about the deal, there was one morning where I had woke up at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Like I was still asleep, but you know how you're in a deep sleep. I sleep with the TV on. So you in a deep sleep, but you kind of hear the TV and it kind of just, you know how your ears perk up like squirrel, that kind of thing. I did that. And it wasn't anything in specific that the TV was saying. Every now and then it just happens. And so then I started getting like this overwhelming feeling like, um, just out the blue. Like you got a good deal. You got a good deal. It's okay. And I remember, I think I said it in my last video where um when I was fasting and stuff too, and God was like, "It's okay. You're okay. You're doing okay." And He kept repeating, and that's what I felt this time too. So I kind of woke up a little bit out of my sleep, and it's like a feeling I had in my body. Um, and it was just like, "You got a good deal. You got a good deal. It's okay. It's okay." And I'm like, and I have to. It just kept repeating, and I have to say, "Okay, okay." Like I hear you. I get it. And then I'm still like, "But did I?" And I'm still just upset that I didn't walk away. But I felt that and I heard that and I said, "You're okay." And that's it. I got a car. Me and my son are going to be able to get around without any issues, problems, or concerns. And I got a car payment. But it's okay. It's okay. So Yeah, that's been my I've been dealing with that for about a month. Yeah, because the accident happened October 16th and it's November 23rd, Sunday, November 23rd. And they had to fix, that was the other thing. They had to fix something on my vehicle. And so, and then they did say they would detail it. By that time, and that man went to shake my hand and I was just disgusted, honestly. I wasn't rude, but I was like, thank you. Like, bye. Um, and then one more thing. I did there before I went in, which everyone should do. I secured financing. And I got a good for used vehicles. I got a good rate because me and my dad was talking about that too. Because his credit score is way higher than mine, and our rates are about the same. So I'm like, this is what the used car vehicle rate is. That's just what it. Because ain't no way me and you got the same rate. Because we ain't. He on he on a new level. I'm on a new level. He on a new level. I can't. That's where you aspire to be. But so the dealership was like, well, I can. And I learned too when my dad get in a car that, and I think I pretty much knew it beforehand. When my dad get in a car, of course they get, excuse me, they get a what they call a kickback if you go with their financing. So that's why I secured financing before I went in there. But in the midst of being disgusted, disappointed, they offered to see if I could get a cheaper rate. And so I said okay. And the reason I said okay is because he said it will not impact your credit. So I was like, okay, that's not gonna hurt anything. As soon as they ran my credit, I got like 3 emails saying, you just got a credit. You just got a credit. You just somebody just hit your credit. Somebody just hit your credit. And I was like, really? So I mean, I know running your credit is it's gonna hit, but you know how sometimes you have um where they do a soft credit check and it doesn't impact your credit. So when he said that, I'm thinking that's what he's going to do. But no, no. Immediately, I got 3 alerts that, because you own all the sites for your credit. I got 3 alerts that my credit was ran. And I was like, he just said that it was not going to impact my credit. And it did. So that was the third thing that pissed me off. So he did find a cheaper rate with, I went with a credit union because credit unions will approve you. Um, and usually their rates are a little bit cheaper, but they're running the same with everyone. So he did come back with a little less of a rate, and I went with them, but I'm going to change that. So as soon as I get the title, I will be refinancing it with um, the credit union, and you won't be getting that kickback. As long as I refinance within 30 days, I think it's really 90, but I'm trying to do it in 30. As long as I refinance in 30 days, you won't be getting that kickback. You won't be getting no more money out of me. We're not doing that. No. You got enough. You got your money. And had you been honest, then it wouldn't be a big deal. But I'm only saving like $8. I did the math. The math wasn't mathing. So I came home. Anyway, I did the math. You're not saving me no money. Maybe over time, but as far as my car payment goes, I'm not saving no money with you. So I'm going to refinance with the credit union. and be done with that whole thing. And they sent me a survey. I'm gonna wait till I get my car before I write that survey, but I will be writing one for sure. So that was my experience purchasing a vehicle. It has not been the best experience at all from the time of my accident up until this point. Um, I just haven't been happy about it. And what's so funny is many, many years ago, one of my friends got into an accident. Her vehicle was totaled and she had to go buy her a new vehicle. And I remember her saying, like, I don't, she wanted a new vehicle, but not like this. And it just hasn't been a good experience for her. And even when she like was signing her papers, she wasn't happy about it. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, you got a new car. Like, what are you talking about? You just got a new car. You just got the car that you wanted. Like, you got a new car. Like, that's exciting. Like, I know, same thing. Like, I know you were in an accident and you gonna miss your car, whatever, but you got a new car. Now I know what she's talking about. Now I can relate. So listen to me when I tell you. I hope if you ever get into an accident and you have to purchase a new vehicle, I just hope that your experience is a lot better than mine. And the first thing is, the one thing, not the first thing, the one thing is that you're already going to be disappointed because it was something that you weren't expecting that you needed to do. You weren't looking to get into an accident and having to get a new vehicle. Maybe, yeah, accidents happen. We know that. But you think, let me just go get my vehicle fixed and move on. Let's head on down the road. Not now I have to go purchase a vehicle. So just keep those things in mind. Listen to my story. Um, and if you ever have to do that, just remember the things that I went through and what I told you of some of my story of purchasing a vehicle, and remember not to do those things. Listen to your gut. If it's a good deal and that good deal is still not a good deal for you, walk away. You'll find one that you'll feel better about. I would at that Hyundai dealership, had they had a vehicle that was, even if it was more, I would rather have gotten my vehicle from them. And even though they still gonna make their money. I know that. I can't outsell a salesman. And it's not for me to try and do that. I just want to walk away from the table feeling like I got a deal too. Like I feel good about it. That's it. Because I know I'm not ever going to outsell, outsmart, because that's not my wheelhouse. Selling cars, being a salesman, pitching all that, that's not where I can't do that. But I want to feel good when I walk away from the table, feeling like I got the best deal for myself. And in this situation, I don't feel like I did. So, lesson is walk away, be safe, um, look out for crazy drivers. Um, and I just hope that you don't have to go through this. And if you do, you learned a little bit from me. So, when I get my vehicle, I may be a little bit happier and share that experience with you. I know my son he's going to love it. I don't think I even told him that I got a car because I kind of want to surprise him a little bit. So, yeah, I haven't even told him that I got a car because I was so disgusted. That's why he doesn't know. I'm still like, even bringing it up, I'm still like, I got a car. Like, I finally told my niece, like, I got a car, and my friend, I got a car. They were like, oh my God. I was like, no. But um, if you like it here, you want to hear some more of my shenanigans or um, more about my walk with God, because I will continue to speak with you about that. Please like the video, subscribe. I will see you next time. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Everybody be safe. eating lots of turkey, love on them babies, and I'll see you next time. Bye.